Hey YouTube, this is Accyrsed, and sorry for the long lapse between uploads, but I've been considering something that, well, it might be something all of you will want to see. I've been working on this little project, per se. The motion data takes about 2 hours to do on a rough run, but I didn't want to wait 2 hours for a remodel that I had to make. So I'm just going to start here by opening up PMD Editor, the 0.1.3.9 or whatever. The last PMD editor before PMX editor was released. This one has dual compatibility, so it needs to be this one. But I found a little trick. By found, I mean, you'll see in a minute. So I'm going to go through the process of importing a model like I normally would, but I'm going to do an extra step beforehand. I'm going to go and find your MMD folder. Well, I'm not going to find yours. You're going to have to go find your own. I mean, I'm going to find my own is what I meant. Import Miku at size 1, and then go through the rest of your stuff. Like, for example, the order at which these will have to be imported are up body, again on 1/10, and then low body, again on 1/10, and then I think it's hand on 1/10, and then foot on 1/10, and what is it next? Hair on 1/10, and then it is face on 1/10. Okay, so now we're going to have to go to the fourth tab, which is the meshes, and delete the list from 0 to 16, that range. Don't do anything 17 or later. There should be about maybe between like 6 and 8 left. That is just the model that you have here, what you're actually going to be working with. You're also going to want to go to the physics tab and delete all of them, along with deleting every joint. Now all that's left here, just a load of bones and the meshes. I'm going to turn off the bones for now, and I'm going to work with the layering of the meshes as you've seen me do before. The way this version works is once you click the button, you have to click the fourth radio button down here and click the box. That way you can physically start working with them. So I'm going to want to move up body up. I'm going to select all of up body and then, make them all visible by unchecking that button. It's just slightly easier to work with in this version. Apparently I messed that up. There we go. So now I'm going to want to get this to line up significantly or decently. Yeah, unfortunately the trick I know does not work fully with models that are strewn about all over the place. You kind of have to put them together first. But whatever. So now I'm going to need, actually I don't remember what part's what. I'm going to need these, the hands. I'm going to move the hands up now. Again, sorry for the delay between uploads, but this is kind of something I've been considering for a while, and I kind of never got around to actually programming it until recently, but it took a while to get this thing programmed. Like the little tweak that I know all of you are going to enjoy so thoroughly once I actually reveal what it is. But until then, I'm not going to reveal what it is. Okay, I'm going to turn on everything but the hair so I can get the face in correctly. There. Now turn on the hair and everything else off. Select it, that on. Okay, so that is in the correct place in general. So now I want to go save this, and I'm just going to do Eve, go to Electra, I'm going to call it Secret Test. Okay, now the model is organized, and I'm going to update the textures. For any of you questioning how I update the textures and why it doesn't work if you keep getting white, you have to put the TGA files in the same location where the model's saved. So I just named it secret test, and all the TGA files are here. It has to be like that, otherwise it won't update. So then you just change a character and remove it, and then there you go. I would advise turning on the bone method, or bone view for this. Now I'm going to go back to my folder and run a little thing that I made. So I'm going to say that I'm rigging Eve, and it is Code Electra, and I'm just going to put that. Now if I go back to both of these, and then you have to select this window first. It's kind of a quirk of it. Partially because those aren't English characters, so I don't know how to have it physically read for them. Not to mention, if the name's different, it's not going to fully work. So now I'm just going to have it do its thing. Basically, it takes those little pieces of input and prepares everything that it needs to do. Unfortunately, this has an obnoxious beeping sound to it, but the plus side to it is it works at nearly light speed. It only does have like a 90% success rate, and if it fails, it has to be redone. But 5 minutes and 90% chance, within 2 tries, you'll have a fully working one. I mean, it's likely going to work. It's just one piece may act a little weirdly if it doesn't work fully. If you look on the right, you can actually see it doing its little thing. It takes maybe about 5 minutes, but it's not that big a deal, to be honest. Although it did take quite a lot of programming. So what it's doing is it's taking all of Miku's bones and placing them on the model where they should be, and then taking all of the actual model's bones that you'll be working with, and then attaching them to Miku's bones or moving them to where they need to be seen, depending on whether or not they're actually moved. The legs on Miku are completely removed, and the legs of the actual model are used, but those are the only bones of the actual model that actually make use, I think, other than the hair. Everything else comes straight from Miku, elsewise the MMD won't be able to read it fully with motion data. And if you look, it's already at 165. There isn't actually much left for this to do. It just goes down to about, what is it, I think, 192, I think? And after bone 8, it gets really quick. Oh yeah, and then it's got to set the targets. If you look, now it's building 9K chain. Okay, so if you look on the right here, it seems as if everything is attached correctly other than one arbitrary bone sticking out that didn't actually get affected. I mean, it sometimes needs to be tweaked a little bit, but I mean, actually two bones. This one here, yeah, that was supposed to be set to -1 and invisible, I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to make sure by checking the R hand. Oh, it attaches to 50. Yeah, which means this was supposed to be attached to 20. And then this was just 191, which attaches to 137. And it was just supposed to go invisible, but I don't think it did. But now if I go ahead and do save as, I'm going to do it secret test, and then finished. I mean, this isn't fully successful. I mean, it will trip up occasionally. It's tripping up more because I'm recording. So long as this is like the only thing your PC's... Actually, it has to be the only thing your PC's doing because it has full control of the mouse for the time being. And as I don't know if I mentioned before, it remains here, so if you want to do a second model, you just hit the home key and it comes right back up. Problem is, once it's up, if you hit OK, it's going to try running a model, but for now I'm just going to select a model that doesn't exist and then hit OK, so it'll remain open, but not actually do anything. I'm going to go back to where I saved it, which should be secret test finished, and if you look, there's the data it spit in from the, probably should have specified a different name, because that's, okay, this is static text, that doesn't change no matter what, but, actually same with that. But that determines what changes, and when you load it up, that name also gets a specific thing. I'm going to load the motion data of just the generic sample that came with the program. And if you look, it actually took the form of the motion, although I'll be honest, the legs are messed up. See, what you want to do to fix them is you select the top of the leg, and you find the X, and you pull up just a little bit on the mouse. Not too much, and then you hit enter. And then same with the other one, just pull up a little bit. Once it like stops moving and it's not taking a little bit, like it's not taking a significant amount of movement, then you're done. I just, for example, on the left, I pulled it up a little bit, but I didn't like it, so I hit Control Z. It was definitely far enough. I didn't need to move it anymore. Once it stops moving to a most extent, you're pretty good. I'm now going to swap to camera mode and turn off the coordinate axis and just hit play. I mean, it's not perfect, but it just completely rigged this model in, what, 2-3 minutes from all the pieces. I mean, it's not perfect, but it beats spending 3 hours on it. Currently, it only works with Eve. If you do it with any other character, it's going to mess up completely. But, I mean, that was pretty decent. It works with different characters. Like, for example, I have done a chunk of characters. So now, this one was also rigged by it, so I'm going to delete this character and then append motion data sample to this character instead. Actually, I have to spring the legs again. Yeah, springing the legs is extremely important. If you don't spring the legs, it's not going to work. You're going to get ostrich leg, as I've heard it called, and as I've been calling it for a while. Now, if I just play it here, this model was also created using the program. You can make any model in a matter of minutes. That's pretty much all there is to it. Currently, I'm not going to be releasing a version until I have all the bugs fully out of the program and all that. I have a little bit more work to go before I maybe release a generic version, but this is just a preview of it. So, thanks for watching. I'll be back soon, probably with more updates on this, and I expect this thing to, especially with the fact that I'll be having a few weeks off coming up, I'm going to be able to put a good chunk into this and maybe have 2 characters or so. Currently, this does not do physics, but by its end, it should go ahead and do physics for the entire character. All these are generic, so what's nice about Elsword character models is all the bones are there no matter what. For example, that last model there didn't have hair that could have physics, it couldn't move, it was static, but it still had the bones there, which meant the list was still 100, actually it's 191 long. It's 192 long, but it goes up to 191 because of 0 center. Anyway, the list is still 192 long for every model, and it's still in the exact same order. When you import them, do not delete the attack spheres and the collision spheres. I left those there just for ease of access for the program. Maybe at one point I'll be able to have it physically read like a zip folder or something, or read like a normal folder in the same location as the PMD editor, and simply just import them by the names of base and then 1 through 6 or something, and then build it from there so you don't even have to import them. But until then, thanks for watching. I will be back soon, especially with more updates, especially since this is coming along relatively well. Didn't expect this to work. Oh, one last thing. When you're done, a really important thing is to hit escape. When you hit escape, the little thing closes, and it won't do anything. Elsewise, whenever you hit home, it will do something. It will bring the pop-up back up. Or when you right-click and drag, it's a little weird. But anyway, thanks for watching, and that's the little program I've been working on. And I'll see you guys soon. If you want, or please comment, like, rate, and subscribe or whatever. Especially subscribe because I'll be putting some new updates on this really soon. And I don't know if this is one of those things, but I feel like this is one of those things that you don't really want to miss out on because I have not seen something like this. This is kind of why I wanted to make it. Anyway, I'll be back soon with a new upload.